Let's talk about Bitcoin. More specifically, let's talk about the central puzzle that's baked right into its code, a technology that, by its very design, is a walking contradiction. So here's the big question, right? How can something be this, a massive, trillion-dollar asset, a true revolution in finance, and at the same time be almost completely useless for something as simple as buying a cup of coffee? I mean, how is that even possible? Well, let's dive in and figure it out.
To really get to the bottom of this, we have to go all the way back to the beginning, back to a single document that kicked off this whole crazy revolution.
Now get this, in October 2008, while the entire global financial system is practically on fire, this mysterious person, or group, called Satoshi Nakamoto drops a white paper online, and it was just 9 pages long. That's it, 9 pages. And those 9 pages launched a global phenomenon. It's kind of mind-blowing when you think about it.
And let's be super clear. The goal was spelled out right there in the title. It didn't say digital gold. It didn't say a new speculative asset. It said an electronic cash system. The vision was crystal clear. This was supposed to be a new way to pay for stuff online.
So what does that actually mean? Well, the whole point was this idea of a trustless system. The dream was to build a network where you and I could send money directly to each other, anywhere on Earth, without needing a bank or a credit card company or any other middleman to approve it or take a cut. That was the revolutionary idea.
But, and this is a huge but, to pull off that dream of a trustless system, Satoshi had to build an absolute fortress. And it turns out, the very design choices that make that fortress so incredibly secure are the exact same things that make it a really difficult place to, well, get anything done quickly.
Okay, so this security system is called proof of work. The best way to think about it is like a massive global lottery where super powerful computers, the miners, are all racing to solve this insanely difficult math puzzle. The first one to solve it gets to add the next block of transactions to the public ledger. This whole process burns a staggering amount of electricity, but that energy cost is exactly what makes the network secure. It's what makes the history of transactions pretty much impossible to change.
And boom, right away we hit our first big contradiction. The whole philosophy was a decentralized network, a level playing field for everyone. But the reality of proof of work, which needs specialized, expensive computers and tons of cheap electricity, means that all the power has ended up in the hands of just a few giant mining corporations.
And that brings us to the second contradiction, which is the one we started with. The goal was cash, something you use for fast, cheap, everyday payments. But the design, where a new block of transactions only gets confirmed every 10 minutes or so, creates a system that's painfully slow and can be really expensive. It doesn't act like cash at all. It acts more like a system for settling gold bars between banks.
So what you have is Bitcoin with a full-blown identity crisis. Is it a store of value, like digital gold, because there's only a limited amount of it? Or is it a medium of exchange, like cash, which was the original vision? The slow, expensive design forces it into that store value role, but then its wild price swings make it a really bumpy ride for anyone trying to actually store value in it.
Okay, so the problem is obvious. The main base layer of Bitcoin is just too slow and clunky for everyday stuff. But what if the solution wasn't to change that base layer? What if you could just build something new right on top of it? This is the million-dollar question for engineers in this space. If that slowness is actually a feature that creates security, how in the world do you get speed without breaking the whole thing? The answer, it turns out, is to create a second layer.
Probably the best way to get your head around this is with the fortress and the city metaphor. Think of layer 1, the main Bitcoin blockchain, as the fortress. It is incredibly secure, but it's slow and expensive to haul your gold inside its walls. This is where you store your wealth for the long term. Now, layer 2, which uses tech like the Lightning Network, is the bustling, vibrant city that's built around the fortress. Inside the city, commerce is lightning fast and super cheap. You can buy, sell, and trade all day long, and you only need to settle up with the main fortress when you're ready to move your big savings in or out.
And here is the absolute game changer. All that chaos in the layer 1 market, the crazy price swings of Bitcoin, it doesn't actually impact how well the layer 2 payment network works. The city can keep running smoothly no matter what the price of gold is in the fortress. That independence is everything.
So, this technical split into 2 distinct layers has huge consequences. It's not just a clever fix for engineers. It's also a roadmap for policymakers. It gives them a totally new way to think about how to regulate this stuff.
And this isn't just a theory, it's actually happening right now.
Just look at the forward-thinking regulations being proposed in Kenya. Instead of trying to shove Bitcoin into one category, they're recognizing its dual identity.
It's honestly pretty brilliant. Look at how they've structured it. The Capital Markets Authority, their version of the SEC, handles the investment and trading side, the store of value. That's layer 1. At the same time, the Central Bank of Kenya handles the payments and wallets, the medium of exchange use case. That's layer 2. See? They're regulating the function, not just the asset itself. It perfectly mirrors the two-layer technology.
And this smart, nuanced approach even helps solve the tricky problem of taxes, where one small change can totally transform how useful Bitcoin is for ordinary people.
Okay, check this out. The old way of taxing it was a total non-starter. They would tax the entire value of the asset being sent, which makes sending a few dollars for a coffee completely impractical. The new system is way smarter. It applies a 10% tax, but only on the tiny transaction fee that the payment service charges. This one little shift completely changes the game, making it practical to use Bitcoin for everyday payments and sending money home. It actually encourages its use as cash.
All right, so let's boil this all down. What are the 3 big things to take away from this? First, Bitcoin's greatest strength, its security, accidentally created its biggest weakness. Second, clever technology is solving this by splitting Bitcoin into 2, a secure vault and a fast marketplace. And third, smart policy is now following that lead, regulating each part for what it actually does.
So when you step back, it's pretty wild, isn't it? A technology that was born from a simple 9-page paper with a very clear single vision has now evolved into something way more complex. It's living a double life as both digital gold and digital cash. The tech and the policies are finally catching up to this dual identity. The real question now is, which one of those identities will ultimately define its future?